Yeah. Look. Check my approach, I'm never doing the most. I coach cold plays, then we doing a toast. I boast, never had to play the field. It's easy to trap, easy to steal, destroy, not too easy to build. Taking care of your kids, now that right there, I swear, definition of real. Lace up your spirit, never run out. Longest night ever ended when she pushed my son out. You bozos, I gotta question your choice. My son first words, Dad, I'm impressed with his voice. How can I stress when I'm blessed and I'm poised? These owl sharpers tripping over they words, mess up the respect for you boys. Deadbeats, y'all some throwaways. It seems like your idols grew to have nothing to show today. So we made a show to make older niggas our protege. Hey, it's your lucky day. Follow me, I'm dad as fuck. I think I know the way.
Oh man! Welcome. Yes. Welcome back. Wow. We back. You bringing that back?
It's gonna be a terrible episode.
We here, man.
Oh man, welcome back. You know, to the Dad is Fuck Show.
Dad is Fuck Show.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, as usual, I'm your host, Sizzle Cells.
James Rich, don't forget.
James Rich on the set, don't forget.
And you got Wu-Tang Jackson.
G-Yeah.
G-Yeah.
Alright, man, you know how we do. I don't know. This episode is off the rails already. So, what's going on, man? How was y'all week? How was the weekend? Your week in Dadville?
Weekend in Dadville. I will say it was a sick one. We were sicky.
Man.
My daughter has started daycare. I want to say maybe 4 weeks
that's
ago.
Where they get all the disease.
I feel like she's been sick every week.
Accurate.
Everybody said, when she goes to daycare, that's when they get sick. I didn't know you meant back to back to back to back. I thought it was just, she gets sick.
Nope.
Cool. She got sick the first week, second week. Third week.
Correct.
Fourth week.
Sounds about
I didn't know this. So for everybody out there, and I will do it, when there's new parents, let them know to be clear. I wasn't prepared for this. I wish I would have known. I've been taking more vitamin C. I would have been doing all types of stuff because I'm sick every week with her.
Yep.
And it's driving me. He's saying it like this is a rite of passage. Like this is how it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I kind of like it, to be honest.
What?
The reason why is because now they're building tolerances.
Yeah, I get it.
Over time.
I get it.
No, I get the larger picture of it or whatever, but it's corny.
My nigga, I gotta work.
I know. It
something
sucks.
to do. I got bad stuff
and
to
they can't
do,
go
bro.
when you're sick.
And now for nothing, when they're sick, they're the most difficult.
That's a
fact. You know what I'm
fact.
saying? So that adds stress. Even though, I'm a pro. My wife is struggling. I'm not going. I love you, babe, but she's struggling.
Under the bus.
She's struggling. It is what it is. So it's like me as the dad, I want to come in and help.
Yeah.
But then I don't want to feel like she can't do it on her own. I don't want to step on her toes.
I feel like not to
Speak.
Not to I don't want to generalize, but I feel like women tend to panic more. You know what I mean? Like they panic, right? So
So the other this morning, I said, you can't be all stressed out.
I don't want to.
I understand, though.
It causes the kids to be frantic, to be honest.
I don't want to use panic. I think they're just overly attentive and really emotionally invested in the situation because they're nurturers. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're just more laid back and we're just like, all right, it ain't dead, it ain't bleeding. It's so outside, right? Like, let's give us some medicine and see how it works out. My son, when my son started daycare, he got sick all the time. And he would spike a temp and have seizures.
Oh, damn.
Febrile seizures.
Oh, my wife would have died.
So the first time, time he had a seizure, I'll never forget, it was New Year's Eve. You know what I mean? I had got the tuxedo in the closet. Yeah. I'm like, let me make some food because I know we're going to go out have a good time. We're about to drop him off at the grandparents and so on and so forth. So I'm cooking and he's playing with his toys and he just stops and just stares off. And I'm just I'm like, Mason, you okay? And he's just not saying nothing.
Wow.
So then he lays down on the floor and just starts take that money.
How you make this funny?
I died. Yeah, I'm glad you did. Because he was fucking with me.
That's crazy. He just take that money. He started Harlem shaking. Is that what you just said?
I just said
it was Harlem shaking, but he was actually having a seizure.
It got wicked. I was so scared. I drove to the emergency room
in the
with him on my lap, gunning it, bro. It was crazy. You know what I mean?
As far as movie shit.
Yeah, like I just blew it there. Like I strapped both of us in the seatbelt.
Yeah. I don't want to get up subject, but I haven't seen that in a movie yet. And that makes sense. That's a real thing. Like, you're not gonna. I need to see that in the movie.
What do you do? You're not gonna put him in the seat all safe.
That's a fact.
Nah, like I'm
let's go.
That's a fact.
But yeah, just so I mean, yeah, getting little illnesses is real. What's good with you, man? What happened? Anything?
I got baptized.
Oh, praise Jesus.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Go something like that.
Nah, it was dope because my daughter was one of. Actually, the only family member that was there at the time that I got baptized, so I was super dope.
That's crazy.
It was crazy funny because she was like, "Daddy, I want to get in the water." I said, "It's not that kind of water." And then as soon as they dumped me and I came back up, she was like, like that's her sense of humor.
Yeah,
like,
that's so funny.
So that was
Praise
dope.
Jesus. So we gotta get into this. Why are you getting baptized so later in life? Or is this the second time?
This is actually my third time getting baptized.
What's that about?
You need more than you.
Are you trying to cleanse something?
No. The first time I got baptized, I was younger, so I didn't really understand it. The second time I got baptized with my then wife, so that was different. And then this time, it's basically the way the pastor explains it. I don't want to get into this whole long thing, but it's like I'm not. But he summed it up as in. You always got to rededicate yourself. So
you see how fast you told that story? Give him a round of applause this time. Give him a round of applause because I really you gave me everything I needed right there.
I can.
Come on,
but yeah, so it was basically a rededication of my life and stuff like that. So
I love that. That's amazing. I'm gonna tell you what I do sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I don't go to church all the time, but when I do go, I feel like I'm cheating because I know I need the word, so I go every now and then just to get the spirit. When you get the spirit, and that's all you need. Sometimes you need to get that reconnection with the spirit. You know what I'm saying?
It's a whole nother conversation. I mean, you talking religion or you talking spirituality?
I'm talking spirituality. I'm not into religion.
You don't even need a building for
that. No,
that.
you don't, but it can help facilitate the vibes. You know what I'm saying?
I think also being in a place with like-minded folk, right? That's why it's just what it is. Not necessarily
it's energy, right? Yeah, like if you're in a room full of a bunch of killers, you have killer vibes.
That's a fact.
Well, that got dark.
Yeah. I wanted to say something too. Yesterday we went to the Scary Island thing.
Yeah, shout out to Scary Island. Shout out to Holy Mo.
He did some crazy stuff, so I have to shirt.
There was a lot of dad-on-dad violence out there. A lot of dad-on-dad violence out there.
But yeah, man, we shout outs to all our listeners and watchers out there, man.
Yeah, man.
We love the support that y'all gave us.
I feel like that's like an end of the show kind of thing.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, we get a shout out. We get a shout out.
Dedication.
Shout out to y'all.
No, I wasn't dedicated. Nah.
Shout outs to. Nah, that's a fact though. Yeah, but shout out to the supporters, man. A lot of love. But this week, man, we got a really dope guest. Man.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna just introduce him.
As a matter of fact, let him introduce himself.
He looks like Static Shock, by the way.
Static Shock is in the building. Check him out.
Really cool feel is the aggravated son. I got one beautiful son, and I'm loving every second of this shit. I'm at the dad's fuck show. It's my dad's fuck.
Follow me, I'm dad as fuck. I think I know the way.
So out of all the anime dads, I feel like one of the better dads, which I like to always be, is the initial D pops. Initial D is an anime about a driver. It's not even about superhero shit. And his dad was the best driver of a bullshit car. He loved Iron Man, the Hulk, but shout out to the Power Rangers. My team is a huge Power Ranger. To describe being a dad in 3 words, love your child. The best gift I ever received from my son has been dead. So my son's gonna be 5 so he get capacity. But I will say that anytime my son gives me a moment that he recalls is the best gift. So I do Marco Polo and I put my son's capo mask on that he wore I've been able to pick up my son forever. The one phrase that pops in my head when I is that it's Sunday. S-O-N-D-A-Y. Every day is Sunday. Whenever you got Sunday, Friday, Sunday. Whenever you will. The biggest lesson I learned from my dad is not be shy. Is it better to be financially stable and absent or broke and present? I'd rather my son know that I love him than to be the richest man in the world and the most absent father. I'm not letting them fight all for 100. I'm a comic geek, shit that I do, right? So when you're dealing with high school, the universe is always right. So which universe are we fighting? Because the Dragon Ball Z universe, you can turn what fucks the child needed. You can blow planets up with a fucking beat. So planets must be fragile and a motherfucker, right? So then in One Punch Man, you'd like to think that finals are more durable. So it bears the question of whether Goku himself, this universe, is as strong as Saitama in his universe. So if I and Saitama's universe, One Punch Man got. If you're fighting in Dragon Ball Z universe, One Punch Man still got it.
Follow me, I'm dead as fuck, I think I know the way.
That's DJ Red Alert. Shout out to DJ Red Alert, I think. He does that. Something like that.
Hey, you know what's funny? DJ Red Alert actually, I don't understand.
Coming for drink chance now. Like, you don't even understand. When Hard Knock Life was made, you don't understand the story behind that. Yo, when me and Sean was in the studio. Anyway. Yo, this is our guest for today. My man, Will. I'm gonna have him introduce himself. So let us know who you are, where you from, how many kids you got, and y'all and
what's your situation?
Alright, boom. So
So wait, hold on.
Alright, so boom.
Boom episode. Right. Over. So Will, Mr. Everyman, most people know me as or whatever. I got one kid, beautiful fucking son, dear God. Yo, fucking beautiful. I gotta tell you.
You feel the
You know how
energy?
you got like special cute? Like everybody's like, oh, my kid is cute, my kid. But then it's like, nah, that little nigga over there though, wow. He's got a gleam in his eye. That's my kid, son. He's on my back. Literally.
We gotta show y'all that.
So, no doubt. So yeah, I got one kid. I'm what's categorized as a non-custodial parent.
And for those who are not as bright, what does that mean? Because I'm stuck.
Syllables.
So right. So custodialhood is based on where the child lives most of the year.
Okay.
I don't like using the term single dad because my dating status doesn't matter. Right? Like I'm a dad.
Exactly.
I'm a dad.
Message.
Right.
Facts.
And a custodialhood just suggests where he stays at most of the time, but it doesn't limit my responsibility to my son. It's also legal. I have never gone to court about my kid. We do everything in our power to like work around that shit.
So what do you mean legal then? How's it legal without the courts?
Because we are still held to the court standard, right? So when you are making decisions about your child, together or not, you still have to understand legally what that means to be a parent and the responsibilities that legally the country, the state, suggest that you have to adhere to.
Okay.
That's important. That's a factor that people miss when they're having babies and they loving each other and we've been together, man. I love you, baby.
Right. Yeah. What are one of those things that we don't think about that may come into play?
Okay, so in order to legally be able to have 50-50 custody, right? To be able to say, no, I'm joint legally without having to go to a court. I think your child has to spend 163 days with you a year.
Okay.
Like that.
Now, what does that mean with you? Like
Broken down,
overnight?
like literally, you spend these amount of days with this child.
So you have to. Do you have to document that? Like, do you document that?
If
you
the
somebody's
battle is that
challenging
crazy,
it.
I'm asking you though.
Oh, am I?
You got
No.
one in the
Nah.
in the war chest? You got the records in the war chest?
You know what I do keep in a war chest? Another thing people don't think about is make sure that there is a document that tracks how much money you spend on your child.
So, well, what I'm asking though, so it's like you said. So, if you're non-custodial, what are you limited? Like, what are you kept from? Give me a situation where a father would think that I can do this, but because you're non-custodial,
so there's some non-default shit. There's some by default shit. So, by default, the custodial parent can make decisions about school without me present. By default.
Heavy.
That's not, we went to a court order and decided that this person or that person has custody. It's like there's no custody agreement at all. Okay, well, because if something happens at school where your kid requires an IEP, because I work for the Board of Education as well, right? So, if your kid wants to get speech services, the custodial parent can sign, consent, attend meetings without the non-custodial parent, and then make those decisions unless there's a legal agreement that stops that.
Stop hitting the table.
My fault.
That's all right.
But by default, those are the circumstances.
Okay.
Right? And it never becomes an issue until it's an issue.
Yeah. Right.
You feel me? As it is in every relationship. But when you're having a kid, that's something that you should probably look into.
What's one situation? What was the tough situation you had to deal with because of that? Because of non-custodial shit? Custodian shit?
That's the toughest thing. What's one thing?
Let me
that
pull out
happened?
the scroll of shit. So, from major to small things. Dig this. I'm a big health guy. Big about vitamins.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's in shape. He works out a lot.
Big. Yeah.
Follow him.
Yeah. So I'm big about giving my kid vitamin D every morning. Mm-hmm. The only way for you to get vitamin D is through your.
Not just you. Come on now. I was wondering if you were gonna fight your urge to do that because how inappropriate to throw that was. I was like, that's so crazy. I was hoping he wouldn't say that. Like, I was hoping he would say that. Right, because this is the real. There's no other way to say that. I know.
No, but it's your son. It's just weird.
I struggle with that because I don't pause. That was so crazy. But then a pause is even like a crazier mind.
Right, because where you at with this? In the middle of me talking about vitamins and minerals,
I'm trying to say
you're having a moment over there.
I was holding down. I like side-eyed. I'm like, please don't. Please don't.
But yeah,
so I fucked up the whole vibe.
if you want to increase your kids' immune system, right, without going the vitamin C route, or in addition to, the only way you get vitamin C is through the sun. I mean, vitamin D is through the sun. Right. So if you supplement that, my kid gets a cough sometimes. He gets these little things.
Let's talk. I didn't say nothing.
What you laughing? You snickering. Continue, please.
So,
sorry.
As a non-custodial parent, I can't make sure that happens.
Wow.
Right.
So if you wanted him to not eat, not to be vegan, this is a good example.
Right.
You can't enforce
can't do
that.
You can't enforce that. I can ask her. I can make the suggestion.
But if she says no, it's a dub.
But if she says no, there's nothing I can do forward. Now, on the other end, she absolutely can.
But on the other end of that is like, can you really enforce anything with your child? Like, should you be really enforcing that, or is that like a lifestyle?
Good question.
But a lot of these things go to the meat. That question alone goes to the meat of my situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Pause.
Hold on, let's real quick though. But real quick, before you get into that, I want to go around the room with that, just to hear you guys' opinion. Well, I want to start with you because you stopped them as far as enforcing things. Like, what? Give me an example of something you wouldn't enforce, and then, or do you think it's okay to enforce anything?
So it's things that I would like for my child to do,
right?
But I can't enforce it per se, right? Like,
okay.
Example.
I don't know. I like for my kid to eat vegetables.
Perfect.
He refuses to eat vegetables right now.
Oh my God, my nephew's like that.
He's almost 3. He doesn't eat.
I got a remedy for that.
The only thing he does eat though is like the Beyond beef burgers.
Okay.
Ooh, cancerous.
Is that vegetable?
Cancerous.
Yes.
Cancerous. DOE stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, very cancerous.
What about?
I was thinking about that too, like how they would get that same. That's my whole issue with going majority vegan and having something that tastes like meat.
Right.
And even like diet soda.
These substitutes.
It
absolutely does though. It does.
Pause this conversation.
Pause the conversation.
No, but I want to
You
just
you don't like the taste of meat?
Pause.
Yeah, meat lover or what?
But I think that's interesting because in my mind, like I said, my daughter's obviously younger. She's only a year, about to be a year. I really feel like I'm going to be enforcing some shit.
But this is the thing, right? I just feel like the word And maybe that's
don't be afraid of language, baby.
Maybe no. I'm saying I'm gonna check myself before I finish my statement. Maybe it's society, right? Maybe
Absolutely.
it's society, society's imposition of the context of the word. You know what I mean? But I just feel like enforcement. When you're enforcing
like
something, you're not giving them a choice, right? Like for you to enforce something, there must be a direct consequence. If this isn't met, you know what I mean?
You can't deny that there are circumstances where that's the only way, right? So if your kid wants to play in traffic, you have no choice but to enforce that they do not.
Right.
So enforcement is still
I mean, I don't. But this is what I'm saying, right? So like, there's a direct consequence of that. Like he's gonna get hit by a fucking car,
or you,
like traffic,
for trying to get into traffic.
But vegetables, he can get cancer.
I mean, you could get.
Of course, I'm just saying there are consequences that there's some consequences that may happen that nobody's really aware of, and you because as a parent, as a grown adult, you are aware of certain things.
So my issue isn't necessarily what I was right and wrong. It's just the idea of enforcement and like what
I just
can
want to
you
hear your
enforce and like what are your boundaries on that? What's something that you enforce? Like
what's something that you
niggas enforced us going to church, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. That's what I want to know. Like, what is something that you would enforce?
Right.
So, like this, what's something that you would enforce? Like, that you want to see for your sons in the future? Like, you want to
safety
help them
matters
get
are the
there.
easiest.
Well, aside from that type of stuff, I'm talking about something lifestyle.
Just
Lifestyle-wise.
not conforming.
Okay.
Non-conformity. Like,
How do you enforce non-conformity?
By not conforming yourself. By showing and proving that. You don't really have to be subjugated to doing what people that look like
and I think
you do. I
think even calling it out is a form of enforcement. Like if you see your son doing something,
that's corny. Like you don't got no big ideas, like or just letting him know that nothing is really that weird. Like let's figure. Like if you think something's dope, let's figure out how to do it. So I think non-conformity is.
I think the ugliness of enforcement lies in the consequence, not the act itself.
Correct.
So if the consequence is crazy, then it's not cool.
Is there something lifestyle-wise you will enforce, or you do enforce with your son?
I do. So my son has to consume vegetables. And this
How
is why
much? How much? How much?
So tell us the trick.
So the trick
Let the
is
dads know.
no doubt. The trick is smoothies.
Right.
That's how I do it.
Easiest way to enforce vegetables, right? So if I add kale, power vegetables,
spinach,
you know what I mean? Spinach. We had arugula the other day, but then I put pineapples, bananas, and peanut butter.
You don't even taste it.
Then you do have a hefty amount of vegetables through those other ways, but then you have the sugar in there and the natural sugars in there, and it knocks that out, right?
Right.
This I require going back to custodial and non-custodial, right? So I can't dictate what his diet is,
right,
in the
when
Bronx.
he's home, I always with the mother.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So that, and good point there too. So what I can do though is I can put these smoothies inside of him and be deliberate in my smoothie ingredients. Oh, okay, so the school is saying that your son has some hyperactiveness to him. He's energy, and my kid is energy.
And it's also education
energy.
involved in this. Now you gotta know something about
absolutely, which leads to my other points. But so now I'm like, okay, I'm going to purposely put in fruits and vegetables that help with insulin, so he can synthesize the sugars that I know he's getting in his house.
Because she does,
because she does the sugar, she does the candy, she's not realizing too many starches. He's half Dominican, so they go hard on rice bread. Right. So I have to offset that. Right. So I have to offset that with making sure that the vegetables, and they don't have a lot of variety of vegetables in their diet.
How many smoothies and when he has eat
every
them a day? Okay,
so he must have a smoothie every morning.
So can I? All right. So I don't feel like that is necessarily enforcement, right? To you, it might be.
It's in the consequence, right?
That's what I'm trying to get to.
So it's enforcement.
If he does, so you be like, you gotta drink this smoothie, dog.
So I was in the Air Force, right? First thing you did in the first week of basic training was you gotta have your 3 liquids. Period. You don't have to eat nothing else. As a matter of fact, there are times where we're not gonna let you eat anything else. But you will not come up from this table without 3 glasses of water about that high. Period. Because we know the kind of training you're gonna have throughout the day. My son is not allowed to have the chocolate kiss that he likes to have, after every meal. He's not gonna have Jesus Christ. I heard myself say that.
I didn't even think none of that.
But the strangest
I did.
So he can't, sometimes the TV got to come off if he's taking too long to finish that smoothie. Mm-hmm. So those are the kinds of enforcement. It's just like, Daddy, I want to get up. Nope. Can I get up until and I got to hear the sound.
Right.
So he takes it in the straw, and I got to hear that. Yeah. And now, okay, you can get up.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's my consequence. Yeah, I don't like to hit my child.
I love that shit. Right. I love enforcement. I think. I just want to say one thing. I definitely want to know. I just want to. I feel like I don't want to get too deep on it, but as a people, as the melanated peoples, I think we need to do a lot of things of enforcement because the world will enforce a whole different lifestyle on our families, and I think we have a different makeup, a different background, and we need to enforce our own traditions. I'm sorry. Continue.
So my number one enforcement thing is candy and sugar.
Mm-hmm.
You
enforce them to eat that?
I know that they do not have that.
I hear that.
I know that everywhere else they go, they might get it.
You know they are.
So in my house, there's literally I don't drink soda myself, so nobody in my house drinks soda.
Ginger ale.
Niggas drink ginger ale. Ginger ale is not soda. That's the thing. I just want to say clearly soda. They think it's real ginger in it. There's nothing in that,
That's the thing. Like we've been taught for so long that ginger ale is not soda. It's medicine. It is soda.
That shit is really soda. No. Real quick. Before we continue, ginger ale is clearly just soda.
Yes.
Don't get confused.
It is the base of soda.
Wait, do you mean it's not an ale made of ginger?
It's nothing. It's just PSA, bro. Ginger ale is just ginger flavored soda, bro.
Seltzer is still water with a bubbly, right?
Yeah.
Cold.
Yeah. But ginger ale is ginger ale is ginger flavored soda.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I'm sorry. Back to that.
Nigga got stuck.
Like, he was confused. Like, well,
How dare you ask me
about the ale of the ginger?
dirtiest little ale is what I live for. How dare you?
But yeah, so no candy.
No ginger ale.
No ginger ale.
Oh, he didn't say no.
Okay, so ginger ale. Listen, only because I lived.
They get the lawyer figures out.
Let me speak my truth. Nah, but yeah, I'm very, very hard on candy because I think oral health is like it's paramount in my life.
Facts, mine too.
I've never had a cavity, and I don't want my kids to ever have a cavity either.
That's amazing.
So we battling.
Yeah, we battling. We gonna see who
get a cavity.
But yeah, so I really try very, very hard to enforce that. But I don't try to inhibit other people from trying to
copy that.
You know what I mean? So like, say if she went to grandmother's house.
The trick-or-treating stuff.
My dad, quick story. He goes to Costco and gets, how big Costco.
Yeah.
No, he got literally like a gallon size bag of Hershey's Kiss.
Oh my God.
I said, why would you get her that? Like, I don't give.
That's a whole nother.
He goes, so she can share with her cousins. I'm like, how often they come here? So I take the whole bag, I give her 3, and I put it in the freezer.
That's it.
I'm probably gonna throw it out. Like it's just what it is. But that's the kind of thing that they have also.
I feel it's funny, man. I don't even know if this, fuck it. So I feel like I can't speak for nobody else because I could just speak for like my experience and like I think the black experience. I'm pretty black. Well, I feel like we as a people, we substitute like affection and like meaningful relationships.
We're giving people
with
think
like,
they want.
but like it's like fucking bribery, right? You can like candy, but even beyond that, like people show their affection for to kind of compensate for what they don't have, but like these unhealthy ass meals, like you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna make you all your favorite foods because I love you.
Yeah, I will kill you.
Like you should get candy when she come here. That's grandma. I'm like, you know what?
So you want
you gotta give that
kill your job?
But you know what? My thing about here, let me just get my point off. I just feel like we gotta focus on being more savory, like mentally, like give some mental candy, give some mental mac and cheese.
Message?
You know what I mean?
I ain't mad at that.
I like that.
Some mental candy.
I had a whole debate, and I'm like, you know what? Nah, that's the way to go right there. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I do think that some relationships in families lend themselves to those kind of things.
Right.
Shout out to the grandparents. Their capacity to make those impacts, they don't have that kind of time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I literally, my Aunt Hattie, I think about the candy that was inside her candy bowl.
Right.
And I didn't have a lifetime worth of time with my Aunt Hattie, but she
Remember that.
let that candy be her impact.
Right.
There's just one thing. You've said it earlier in the show before. You speak a lot about how important moments are with kids. You said that before.
Yeah.
So do you think that kind of contradicts what you're saying a little bit?
No. So my thing is that can't be it, right?
I hear you.
Right.
Yeah,
so even his story, I'm sure his story of his Aunt Hattie is like the candy that she might have had in a bowl.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
like
what he
it's like an
remembers.
immediate thing that brings him there.
Right.
But once
It's
he's
a trigger,
there,
but once I'm there,
it's
it's so much
that
more.
happened. Yeah.
I got
It's so
perfumes
much
and hugs and
Yeah, but you're not
so
against
much more. I'm not
that.
against. I'm just,
Grandma gonna do something a little different, something special
I'm saying
for
that
you.
that can't be it.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that. Yeah.
That can't be it. So
Yeah.
I'm big on moments, but
Yeah.
it's like it can't be the same moment the same
Oh, yeah,
way
of
every
course,
single
of
time.
course,
It's like,
of course.
what
But you
more
gonna
is
keep giving me
there?
mad candy? Like
You
that's
just
not
gonna
gonna be
keep-
enough.
But then what happened when I come of age and now
And I don't want candy.
are you telling me that you've expired as a
That's
useful
true.
person in my
That's a
life?
fact.
Now
Right.
that these trinkets don't
Yo,
work.
to your point, my mother always talks about when she feels like her influence will end, and she can almost like say, okay, when you get to this point, when you stop eating grandma's candy, that's when I know
That's
you
deep because I've been thinking about that a lot with my parents.
It's real, bro.
But
It's
see,
real.
I don't want to say. I guess their influence changes, but I don't think the influence leaves. I think their power and their connection to you kind of changes. Like for me, there's certain things that I'm not really going to my mom or dad for at all.
Right.
But there's certain things that I'm definitely
That have to,
need.
right.
I need them there. I don't need them to even tell
Right.
me anything.
Right.
I just need them to be there because
Right.
they have this foundation. They make me feel more secure, make me feel
Right.
safe. I guess is the best word. But you're right. That's an interesting thought process.
Yeah, because when your mortality is in your face, you start to things get different. You know what I mean? Not to get too deep, but my dad was shot when I was 10, right?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Like, we didn't really get your
what's
origin story.
Let's get into
What's
that.
your origin
Yeah,
story?
Static, tell us your origin story.
Yeah, tell us your origin story.
Struck by lightning in a world where. So to the focal point of this show, being a dad is the most important job any man could ever have in his life.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's why I'm only having one kid because the level of dedication that for me it takes to gear this kid, I can only do this once.
Wait, so you made that
Hold on,
conscious
we're
decision?
gonna
Yes,
cut up his
sir.
origin story.
Right.
I just got to push back on that. Do you feel like that because of your unique dad experience? Because
Well,
you're now,
that's what I wanted to get
That's
to.
what I'm saying. Because you're now with the mom.
I was kind of
Is
walking into
are
that.
You, like,
Well, it's because of my
I'm calling
dad.
you out. I think
And
you're
what about
copping
your
out.
dad?
I think it's a
What about
cop
your
out.
dad?
Well,
I
it
think
is
it's
a
a
walk
cop-out.
into that. So my dad, I have 4 sisters. Me, I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm my dad's only son.
Okay.
So before me, he was like, I'm raising these girls. I got these girls. I'm raising these girls. The minute he had me, he was like, all right, Sandra, take care of these girls. I'm your baby man. I'm all him, right?
Yeah.
So I watched. So then when my dad got shot when I was 10 years old, he quadriplegic.
Oh,
Same
wow.
exact condition as Christopher Reeves. Same
That's
exact. Couldn't move
crazy.
anything from his neck down. Well, my mom was conditioned to let Willie take care of Willie. Right? I'm a third. So now my dad has no voice for 2 years. What's crazy is I don't really remember my mom until my dad got shot.
Oh wow.
And my mom and my dad were together. You know what I'm saying? But he had that level of impact on my existence.
That's crazy.
That there are beautiful moments that I clearly remember with my mother, but the impact parent was my dad.
Right.
So when he
Wow.
got moved out of that situation, now me and mom's gotta like get to know each other, and I'm also battling with the fact that the world took my superhero away, and blah, 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 right? So that point that I made comes from the fact that, like, okay, I know what the kind of impact my dad had on me.
You.
trying to
And
have
it was
the
just
same-
you and him.
With still
felt like
having
it was
4
just you
other
and him.
Exactly.
Up here. Right.
With having 4 daughters. And then my mom had to now pick up the slack and continue to do 4 daughters and a son.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the level of pull that she was dragged to, I don't know that I have that strength. It's not to take away from anybody who has multiple children, but I don't know that I can make my son an astronaut and then have another kid.
Contrary
and my
to-
son's gonna be a fucking astronaut.
He's enforcing
That's
that.
a fact.
But contrary to that same resolve and that same, that that driving force, you know what I mean, that you find with your son. I feel like if you had another kid, you would be able
I'm pretty
to
sure you
duplicate
would.
that, bro.
I think it's one of the. That's the beautiful thing about children. They bring things out of you that you never knew was even there.
They show you.
So it's like,
It's true.
I agree with that.
My son is about to be 3 in December, and now I have like an 8-week-old. And it's just I also felt this not that I just thought like one kid was enough, like kind of overwhelming. My wife, you know what I mean, she wanted a little girl because my wife is beautiful. She like shit.
Right.
My son is beautiful.
Right.
Let's have a beautiful little girl.
Beautiful little girl.
We end up having a beautiful little boy again.
Dude.
You know what I mean? So but in having that, it's just like it's not. I'm having experiences with my new son. And it's not like, oh, this again. It's just like, wow,
something
like
else.
this for the first time with you, like
first time again.
First time again.
So let me talk about Lucky You. Lucky You had 2 children by the same woman.
Facts.
So we didn't even get to that part yet. Hold on.
But my circumstances won't be that.
So look, real quick. Yeah,
so
tell them about the situation.
So I was with my son's mom for 10 years. We had him, and then decided. She left. Let's just keep it a buck. She left.
Because it's fucking up. You was fucking up. Keep it a buck.
Let's keep it.
You was fucking up. Did she leave or did you push her? Let's keep it. On that AM we gonna play. Let's keep it a buck.
That's a new game. Let's keep it a buck.
Let's keep it a buck.
So
yes or no? You was fucking up.
I wasn't.
Oh, that's a no. Okay.
The no, I wasn't and I was, man. Like there's no way. Because
yeah, I mean, no, we can talk about that. So I'm with you.
Right?
What does that mean?
Bro. We gotta get really take us there.
Let's go.
When she's pregnant, the connection that you have with your child is the potential future that you want to build for your child. But that's your connection. Your connection is in your head. While she is physically connecting.
Facts.
Right?
Talk about it.
Having 4 sisters and a mama didn't lend itself to anybody really talking to me about fatherhood. So I'm losing things. That's all I understand. I had a recording studio of my own. I was playing James Richards music on my own radio station. I had shit.
Go look it up. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Margarita's my shit. Shout out to James Rich, that to me. So, you know what I'm saying? I had shit. Yeah. And this kid was taking my shit. That's what I knew.
Heavy.
And nobody was like, hey, this is going to be the greatest thing in the world. This is going to be this. This is going to... They're just like, yo, you got to make all these sacrifices for a kid that's not in your body, that you have not met, that you don't know is going to be a fucking serial killer or not. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, everyone's like, oh,
it's all about him.
Congratulations. Congratulations. You're growing and glowing. And I'm
you just on the side.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right? I had ballooned up to 215 pounds.
How much you weigh now?
I'm 160, baby. Strong.
215?
Yo, 215. I was depressed. I was scared. You know what I'm saying?
How much you weigh?
I'm there. I weigh depression and scared. I weigh depression and scared.
That's hilarious.
So that was going on, and I'm losing things. Like I said, I have to sacrifice my studio. You can't have 2 babies. Yo, entrepreneurs, the truth of the matter is you can't have 2 babies.
I had this conversation this morning.
You know what I'm saying?
Yikes.
But you got a partner.
Yeah.
I had a passenger. You feel me? Like you gotta sit.
Spicy.
No gas money.
So continue. Let's move this along. I just want to know. So what happens?
So
with
we
you
break
and
up,
mom?
and
You break up when?
Yeah.
when he was 1.
Okay.
Okay, so after.
So
Yeah.
the prince to the throne, the heir to the throne, he gets here, right? And
Fall in love with him.
That so from what happened in that year?
Yeah.
So-
it was already kind of.
Yeah.
So everybody can attest to it. That moment where you legit fall in love with your kid is the first moment that you actually have. So my moment was I told my girl I was gonna be on night duty. I'm on night duty. You held this kid, so every time the kid wakes up from 9 o'clock until 4 in the morning, that's my job.
Facts. Oh, that's what I said. Remember?
My man, that is fuck. So I got him on night duty, and I'm holding him, and I said something, and it was a joke, and he laughed. I was like, oh shit, we
This is fine. We connected. We connected.
Nobody think Willie funny. Nigga think Willie funny.
So,
Willie.
so like I fell in love with my son.
That's slip,
and
man.
Then I folded into fatherhood. And the point that I definitely want to solidify nothing else is, yo, fellas, leave the trap door alone. Fall into your kids. Know their medical history. Know what your kids' sizes are. Know what their favorite foods are. Like, don't leave that to mom. There is nothing that should be left to mom. Nothing. Because the reality of my existence was that my pops got shot when I was 10 years old. So the truth of the matter is something can happen to Ulysses' moms
anytime.
or anybody's moms.
Yeah, anytime.
And you no longer have a trap door.
Yeah.
Right.
So prepare yourself right now.
Facts,
Be
facts.
all the parent. Don't just be dad.
Facts.
Be all the parent.
So what's the? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so to that point, that's one of my mantras, right? Is that I am the father that I'm going to be as if I was in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So like
I like that.
if I have to be inconvenienced driving 88 miles to make sure that my daughter gets to school on time,
That's the job.
That's my job I would have had if I was in the house anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I
That's
always that's a dope point.
dope.
You know what I'm saying? So be the parent. Be the parent. Oh, you a single dad? No, I'm a custodial dad.
So it sounds like you're saying it's from feeling like things didn't work out as best as you would like in certain situations. So what's one of those situations that you feel like has been difficult with you guys being separate? You and mom.
His diet is a starter. My Sundays are hard.
Okay.
Right, so I have my son from Friday. I call Friday Sunday, SON day. I post it, and people who follow me see my Sunday start. I literally will make a video. I'm about to go pick up Ulysses. What's up, y'all? It's Sunday. And then I show me walking to my son and him greeting me, right?
Yeah.
So I have to give him back on Friday. I work for the Board of Ed, so I'm allowed every holiday. So I have every holiday with my son. I took him on a cruise last Christmas. I go hard, bro. So
So you have him when? Friday to
Sunday.
Friday to Sunday, got you.
And Sundays are very, very difficult for me.
Oh, okay.
They're very difficult for me. So one of the so his diet is a situation. His schooling is another situation. I'm real big about schooling. My son's gonna be a fucking astronaut. I don't feel like she goes as hard about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm also big about, like, don't beat on your baby moms. Don't beat on your baby moms. Like, you chose her to share half DNA with your legacy.
That's a fact.
Whether she's the wicked bitch of the West,
Wickedy.
or the best woman in the world, that was your choice.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So I don't know that she's as strong with the education part. She's also, immigrated over from DR when she was 12. So there's a lot to it. But I feel that. I feel that when I go to school and they start giving me complaints about Ulysses' behaviors, and I'm like, he doesn't exhibit any of those behaviors. We spoke with me at all. I'm one that celebrates academics. So the minute I see my son show me that he's learned something, big celebration about that. So that he always constitutes those things. Ooh, I just learned something. Let me show daddy. Yay! I don't know that she deliberately does those things. I don't know that she raises with deliberance at all.
Question though, is that a conversation you had with her? Have you
Let's go back to custodialhood. Let's go back to custodialhood.
What do you mean?
Because to that point, when you live in, right, the beauty of your parenting experience is that you have built-in checks and balances.
No, I'm just asking.
I'm speaking to it though. I'm speaking to it though. Like, so no matter how many conversations that we have, there's no way of me making sure things.
But have you had those conversations?
I'm Captain Communicate.
Right.
Like I absolutely. I try. I've coined something called parent date. Right? It's not romantic. It's parent date. Can I take you out to dinner so that we can discuss?
I love that.
And get on the same
I don't got
page
no
with our
baby mamas,
kids?
but if I did,
You know what I'm saying? Let me
If you did, you would
out.
not be doing that.
You know what I'm saying? Parent date. Like, let's sit down, let's have dinner, and let's talk about what works and what doesn't work. Let's talk about how we can utilize daddy and his invisibility in your home. You know what I mean?
Utilize daddy.
You know what I mean? What about what
how
I'm
was
doing?
parent date received? How was it received?
We haven't had a parent date.
Okay.
Exactly my point.
She just not fucking with you. Willie, what you did, Willie? What you did, Willie?
Yo, to be honest with you,
Willie, what the fuck did you do, Willie?
Because what girl is not taking a free date?
It's kind of hard to see a man love your child the way your child should be loved, and you fucked up and left.
Damn.
Like that's just human.
I'm about to go the fuck home.
He just got
Like that's just
deep on
human.
him.
Y'all ever date that girl that stepped her shit up and y'all seen her 3 months from when you left her? You
Oh,
was
I
like,
see what you're talking about.
damn, what the fuck did I do?
So
I'm
just
not mad at her.
seeing you is
215 to
hurting.
160. I got a
Yeah,
whole
I can
six
imagine.
pack.
Yeah, he's a whole
Willie
action
out.
figure out here.
Willie out
Paul.
here
That's a
looking.
fact. He has a garbage can he rides on from time to time.
He has a
He
garbage
is the
can.
man.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I respect the fact that can't be, and we spent 10 years together.
Yeah, that's a
So
lot there.
there's
A lot of
some
baggage.
crazy to me,
lot of
So
stuff.
I'm not gonna front like, of course we don't have a lot of love. Come on. It's silly. But I became a better man for my son.
Yeah.
And that's gotta be hard to watch. And
So-
especially when he's laughing and he's happy.
Yeah, I wanted to switch gears up just to bring,
Right.
sorry.
Just he said the moment he fell in love with his son was when he told us the whack corny joke. Now he told a joke and it sounded like, what? Do y'all have that moment? Like, what's y'all moment
As he
when y'all
said
was just
that-
like, wow, like
As he
this is
said
really
that-
me
This
right
is
here.
it, right?
As he said that, I was thinking about it, but it's like I can't.
I know my
because
first thought.
yeah. So you go ahead.
So-
my
so-
daughter's just. I look at her and I was like, oh my god, this
That's
is the
it
most
then.
beautiful
Yeah,
thing
because you know
ever.
what I mean? His baby looked like him though. See,
Yeah,
my
it's
son
crazy,
didn't look
man.
like me out the gate. Yo, out the
Yeah.
gate, that's little
Yeah.
Richard. Oh my God. No, I'm telling you.
So my first moment, I didn't really get to. Well, the first time I held her was when she was born. I didn't get to hold her again until she was like after 1.
Wow, that's
Tell
tough.
your story
Yeah, I
though.
want to hear
Alright.
some of that.
So
Tell the truth.
There was a situation.
Look, he's not
Jeremy, I only just hear.
You just got baptized. Tell the truth.
He has
I'm
to.
always gonna tell the truth.
Jesus is watching.
You don't hit me though.
Speak.
I was in a situation where I had to literally go to court to get to see my daughter.
But why?
Oh, no.
Because-
We're not
Yeah.
gonna start there.
But, okay.
Yeah,
Tell
what
us
happened?
From the last episode, I think I talked about it when I was like,
You left her on the
drove-
bus stop.
I left her on the bus stop.
That,
so I
that's why
drove
y'all
back.
broke up.
Tell
No,
a
it's okay.
story.
You really want a story?
Tell a story.
Don't tell it as long. Do your new learned way.
My
hitting
new
the
reformed way of
points.
telling. All right, so bullet points. One, I got a female pregnant.
Usher, yeah, you did say the Usher.
I'm
Come
gonna
on,
call you
shit.
back.
Go ahead, I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna call you back. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm in the studio.
So anyway, so we found
Oh
out.
shit, I just got that.
Welcome to Daddy.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Continue.
All right, so,
Shit.
so we find out she's pregnant, whatever. At that time, I was dating somebody else. So it became a battle of dealing with, number one, the emotional hurt that
Yeah.
I just caused.
Of
right?
course.
That's
and
right.
then
That's fucking up.
dealing with and then dealing with this potential mother of my child, right?
And
so,
this new life.
And
Yeah.
so the conversation at that time was like, oh nah, I don't want none of these.
So wait, so you was like, you wasn't gonna keep the kid, like y'all weren't.
Yes, we had a no. I told her. I was
Now
like,
the child you're talking about, this was your girl?
No, this was
Oh, this was the other girl.
the
Right,
other
Got you.
right,
Now, what
right.
happens with the regular relationship? That
Oh,
just
that's
becomes
gone.
a
We
dub.
don't.
It's
So
over.
that- so that's-
She was like,
No,
I'm
they
out of here.
stayed
You
together.
well.
They stayed together.
No.
But I don't even care about that part.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I want to know about the
I got
dad.
you.
Right, because this is the
I got
okay,
that.
so
Dad origin.
So
I
the
want to know
dad
the dad
origin.
origin.
All right,
Not
so
the, this not the bad boyfriend shit.
So the dad origin was that. So she went through 9 months of pregnancy without me being present.
Because you stayed with the
Because
other
I
girl.
stayed-
that's why I wanted to ask
I
that.
stayed with my girlfriend.
Yeah, because that's
Y'all
a
had
part
an
of it.
agreement
So
also.
you
Yes.
created some animosity right there.
Exactly. So yes, we had an agreement, right? We had an agreement, whatever. She proposed to me.
We should do this on the first episode. So go ahead.
No better time than the
She
present.
proposed to me at the time. Mind you, I was young and stupid. I'm not gonna use that as an excuse, but at that
But
time,
yes,
I was
that's
very
a
young
valid
and
and stupid, right.
So she proposed to me. She was like, you know what? I know you don't want this baby. You could just
Oh, I
sign
know
the
it.
baby off, and
Oh,
that would
this,
be it.
How to get away
Right?
with
You don't
murder
ever
shit.
have to be.
Okay.
And
That's
the baby's like, to
crazy.
your point of what we were talking about earlier, right?
Right.
And then my girlfriend at the time was like, nah, we're not just gonna do that.
Yeah.
We're you want your future baby to be
Thank
in
God
the
for
world
her.
with nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just might meet her later or
Yeah.
him later and not
That's
know.
nuts.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? All right, cool. So the 9 months, a little.
So what you're
caveat to
saying
that
is
story.
this is part of the proposal. It took a 9 months.
No, this is during like right in the beginning.
Got
of
you,
the
got
process.
you.
Not only that, but she had also moved away, so he didn't even have access to
I
her.
got you. It wasn't
inner
like
child.
back and forth.
It's not like she was like up the block and he just didn't go right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
She had moved away.
Okay,
That context is necessary.
Yeah, I need to put that in there.
Yeah,
Right.
she had moved away.
Because we don't want you to think you're a dirty
I was like,
shot.
what? Like 9 months?
Like, go upstairs, nigga.
Nigga, call her, man.
What you do? Take the stairs?
And the crazy thing, at that same time, I was also working on my relationship because now I
Yeah,
had
you
to
been damaged, yeah.
Yeah, so it became
So
a
you
point
did
of
a
like
Carmelo
I was
Anthony.
guilty.
Yeah.
So now I'm acquiescing to anything that she
Right,
wanted me
absolutely.
to deal with. Right?
Exactly.
Okay, so
You taking your lumps.
yes, a lot of lumps. So for 9 months,
Better man
I
than
couldn't
me.
really be. I couldn't say, okay, she has a doc's appointment. Let me go there. How am
You
I?
didn't want to
I'm
upset her. You don't
Exactly.
Want to,
So
walking on
I didn't wanna-
eggshells.
But meanwhile, it's her point for you to
For me
stay
to
in this
stay.
child's
That's
life.
what women do.
Yeah,
I don't want to turn into that. I don't want to turn the show into that. But continue.
Yeah. So I was.
They're
in
good
there.
at putting you in the trick bag.
So those 9 months I wasn't there, right? So after the baby gets born, she gives me a call like, "Hey, the baby's here."
Right.
My brother, shout outs to him, rides with me to go see the baby.
Right.
I hold the baby in my arms.
You fall in love point.
Baby, no, not yet.
Okay.
Nigga, like, you ruined me.
Yeah. Real talk. He's probably
I've been
conflicted
there.
inside.
I'm conflicted.
I've been there.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I'm
being
conflicted.
real.
I'm conflicted because not only did you give me the option to
bow
forego
out.
the responsibility,
You
right?
took it. Yeah.
I'm holding this being that you're saying is mine, which I know fully that is mine
This is
also.
it. But you know what's so crazy? Not to cut you off, but this is like to just elaborate
story,
why you
by the
feel
way.
how you feel. It's like this is the physical manifestation
Yeah.
of you fucking up.
That's a fact.
And now you are holding
shit.
My fuck up.
in your mind, but not to call your daughter a fuck up. She's a beautiful girl. But
Right.
But
Metaphorically.
Yes,
metaphorically, metaphorically, where you were in
This
that
is my
present,
this is my biggest mistake.
Yeah.
This is my- that
Facts.
moment-
That you
Be real
in your
about it.
life that you ever.
that moment.
In that moment.
And I got a trapdoor.
Yeah, I can get out of
I
this.
open a trapdoor.
fact.
I can get
And
out of
that's
this because
just-
moms don't have that luxury.
Heavy.
So trapdoor with the
So now I said she was the first time I held her again, right? So that means that there's a whole year that goes
wow.
on. So I find out that she's been taking the baby to my parents. My parents haven't been telling me
But why? I'm confused.
because she's trying to keep the baby away from me now. Now she's like,
This is not nothing to do with you. She's making this
now
decision.
she's making that decision.
Gotcha.
So I go, so I find out, in the
Right, of
hood-
course you're
in the
doing
hood,
So give some more context.
Okay.
He wasn't living at home with his parents.
Yeah.
He
Right.
was living with this
I will
lady
figure
who
that.
stayed with him through the infidelity and the hurt of having
Yo.
a child.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yo, my man just watched my face fade. I was like, wait, what? He was living
So he's not at home with his parents,
Gotcha.
and she's bringing a child to see the grandparents.
I don't
behind
wanna
his
get-
back.
I don't wanna
developing
get
a
too-
relationship
a
with a
relationship.
child.
wanna
You don't
get
know.
too
That's a
deep,
fact.
But
No,
that's a
I'm
whole
getting
nother.
That's
what's
another.
that
So
about?
I felt betrayed also.
Big time betrayal.
Right?
fam.
So all right.
Well,
So
whoever, I'm sorry, I don't know you like that, miss. But come on.
So we're gonna talk about that. Also. Okay, so then now I'm like, all right. So for me now, you're telling me the only way I'm going to get to see my baby is if we go to court.
She told you that straight
So
up.
now to your point of now trying to re-engage into the life of my kid,
It's a struggle.
and now I have to put myself on child support. I have
With the
to then-
legal ramifications.
Exactly. I
Right.
have to now do DNA tests, which she was also upset about because she thought that I was doing it because I thought the baby
No,
was
you
mine.
had to.
But no,
For the
I had
court.
to. So
I'm
court
getting
said
a
it.
ball rolling.
Oh, FYI,
I'm on the
I got
process.
one, and yo, I don't give a shit if you married her, you love her, you whatever the bomber cloud you do them things. Get
What if-
a DNA test now.
No matter what.
No matter what. You know why though?
Right.
More so
What if
than
the baby
just
look like
DNA. I looked at you because it was like, nigga, you
That's
don't.
it. You know
But-
me.
I've
What
seen some
was
babies
it?
that look like they're.
But what was very
they're
interesting
parents
is
and
that
they-
DNA tests tell you even more than just that. They tell you how much of your
you.
DNA
I didn't know
is in
that.
that child.
I'm doing it.
So the crazy
Right.
man.
So when it starts to come down to like genetic diseases and stuff, you can now lean
Yes.
to what's going on with you,
And
with
figure
your
out
child.
why you want to get a divorce when you're arguing like it's your fault. It's your family.
So the crazy thing is, we was like 99.8, which is like I didn't think it went that high or something like that.
Like, you
And
could've
then-
did this by yourself.
I made this baby, which is anyway.
Wakanda.
So anyway, so then
That's a fact. though. That's a G shit. That's what happened. This
I made my
T'Challa
clone.
over here.
I made my clone.
You are only the vessel.
Give me my child.
Incubation was your only
The
task.
power of the Black Panther is within you.
So anyway, between having to go to court every almost once a week, right? So then we finally get to a point where because she was upset I wasn't there for the 9 months for the visits, because she was upset that I did a DNA test. Now it's that much more harder.
Absolutely.
So now we end up getting supervised visitation the first day
nasty.
ever. So I've gone through the process of
I don't want to pause you, but the thing that I think is so disgusting about a lot of this system, right? A system that if we in fact live in a man's world, right? How come men created laws to allow these trapdoors, right? The minute that DNA test came up,
I think we got.
Why weren't there built-in rights?
I think we got to go into the men.
Women have them, right?
I think we have to go into the men who created those laws.
That's what he's saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm blaming men first.
Of the law.
I'm blaming men first, right? Because biology.
You blaming men or you blaming the man?
Well,
Let's talk about it.
Okay, I gotta blame both.
We gotta blame both.
I gotta blame both.
I like how you did that.
Because
we exploit that too.
Right. Correct. That in the current political climate, not a one-man rights group has stepped up and said to any political, 12 for Democrats, hey, what about men's rights?
They talking about
what about the fact that my child support is a non-deductible income, which I cannot claim on my taxes?
He's disgusted.
You know what I'm saying? So men are begging women to claim their children. Yo, can I get them this year? Can I get them this year?
Nasty work.
I give you over $6,000 a year in non-taxed income. Plus, I see my kid every single weekend, and he has his own wardrobe.
And I buy my son. Exactly.
I gotta feed him when he's with me, right?
So look, here at the That Is Fuck Show, and everybody that I know, we play this life game that we call So Do It Then.
Man.
So you saying that there's no group, so let's do it.
But I will jump in on that, and I always say, especially when it comes to black people issues, I agree with you. But when you live in a situation where you got to put a lot of energy just to survive, it's hard to organize. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's hard to organize sometimes.
To that point, you also, right, so my next career is going to be politics. This is why I can only have one, because I have my other life to live, which is my own, right? Earmarks, right? So we have to connect
start somewhere.
that
You got to start somewhere.
to something that's already rolling.
Got to start
and then
somewhere.
you have to deal with some of the aspects of that legislation that you don't love, right? So let's say we earmark.
Give us an example.
Fathers' rights to prison reform. But then we had to find out that there was something about prison reform that we didn't agree with. But we've earmarked our rights to it.
Right.
So we gotta push those bills together, feeling like we don't love this, right? So this is the issue that happened. This is the issue that may have very well happened in Clinton's administration when they're like, oh, mass incarceration. Perhaps it was earmarked to something else.
That we had to push through together. To push that through.
So we villainizing this guy and this woman about legislation.
The micro, the micro, not the macro.
But not just now, you got what? Back to that point of when I held the baby. So,
yes, we going down rabbit hole. This whole thing started just on the how.
When did you fall in love with your child?
He fell in love when he got that phone call in the studio. I'm in the studio, baby.
Mind you, I've not seen this baby interact at all with anything. So she walks into the room. The lady sitting in the corner.
Oh yeah, because she's walking. That's heavy. I'm waiting for my daughter to walk right now. It's like.
So this is why I always tell you guys I can't wait for my new babies.
Yeah. Right.
Not on the way yet, but in the
future
when I want to be
there for
that whole. Anyway, so she walks in. She walks in, and then she picks up something. She doesn't know me, so I pick her up. I go, hey, and she's like mad sociable, right? She's mad easygoing. Yeah, I was like, hey, I'm just looking at her, whatever. And then
she looked like you.
Apparently she thinks it's like.
I was like, he talking so slow.
Anyway, so she's playing. I'm playing with her.
Don't cry on Dad's fuck.
This nigga about to cry.
It don't matter. So she's playing with her toys. I'm playing with her, trying to, interact with her, but the lady's there, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, somebody with eyes. This is
that's
supervised. So I'm still not really engaged.
Right? Yeah.
So she plays for a little bit, and I see her like rolling around. I'm like, all right, she looks tired, so I pick her up. I put her on my shoulder. And then, you know, I'm walking around just holding her, just like closing my eyes and just like
having that moment.
Having your moment.
Smelling her.
And
Because babies be smelling good,
bro,
man.
I love smelling her.
Crazy.
So she falls asleep. My eyes are watering right now. Now she falls. I'm looking at her. She falls.
That level of comfortability in her dad's arms.
Bro, like she knew me.
Yeah, and she did.
And she
the
felt
genetics was
you.
there.
Bro, and then that was the
Needed
first
that.
day, and I was like, and I needed
And
that.
she know what you needed.
Yo, my son,
We
my
getting
son,
wild deep.
I needed that.
Yo, they're intuitive that way. Yo, that's why I said my Sundays are difficult. Because I know that from Monday to Thursday, 96 parenting hours are being stolen from me.
Nigga know the numbers.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know
Real
that my
shit. That is
son
fucking
completes me,
it
son.
matters. I don't mean touch, but I want y'all to understand. This is what we're trying to, I think, get across, right? How important it is, how much it means to us.
Because I think that's lost. I think that in music and culture and things that we describe as cool, that thing is missing. And I love that you guys have decided to personify and solidify that. That is something that's so cool, because the love that I was waiting for from the time I lost my virginity, bro, 14, because you know I get it in. Until the time that Ulysses was born, son. He was the love I was looking for the whole entire time, yo.
And that's the thing, and that's why I be telling people, like, you don't even understand like what fatherhood is. It's like, I don't feel like you can be complete.
You can't quantify this shit.
You really can't quantify it until you get that experience. And it doesn't even have to be like your biological child. So I'm not trying to down anybody. I'm just talking about this void that cannot be filled unless you love something so,
that much, to that
not
level.
even that much, but that differently.
So,
right?
So to your point, right? Because you said biological or not, like the love exists in the commitment.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what's
and
the difference. That's the difference.
That's one of the things that we don't jump into with a lot of men. Like, it's the commitment. Like, you can have a baby, you have him every time you bust.
Yo, let me tell you what the crazy thing is. Like, when you say that commitment, I used to say that about life. Like, when I got married, I felt like, oh shit, this is different. And leading up to my marriage, and leading up to marriage, I was like, whatever. I've been with my wife forever. Before the marriage, I'm like, this is nothing.
It's nothing. It's
but it's the commitment. Like, that is where that special thing is at. It's the fact that you can't renege on this. You can't.
Right.
There's no. I mean, there technically is, but you don't want to. If you're gonna do all of this work, what's the point?
And that's the commitment.
You know
the commitment is I can't renege on this because I'm committed to this.
So clarify what you're saying, with a child, hopefully you really can't renege on that. It's a different feel.
Different.
Like, you really can't get out of that. Like, you're gonna be a dad, and you might be the worst dad ever, but you're gonna be a dad even if you leave that house. You still the father.
Right.
I mean, if you
still just walk, you just an incomplete nigga. You just walking around as an incomplete nigga.
And that's it. And that's it. Because it's one of those labels that never go away.
You literally leaving a piece of you. Like, that's a piece of you.
99.
in his situation.
But this is what I. So even that point, nigga, that point too. You leaving that nigga, you not complete.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So
That's
this
really
is
you,
this is
bro.
what frustrates me about even what you just said, man.
Yeah.
So like I've had conversations where I'm like,
I feel like this show been going on for mad long.
I know. Where I'm like,
it's a good. I don't want to stop it.
Where I'm like, yo, you know what? I feel slighted. I feel slighted in missing my 96 hours. I feel slighted in the fact that I can't by default make decisions on something that's mine. Because your relationship is something that somebody agrees to give you, but your child's yours.
Should be.
So when I hear brothers sit around and say things like, yo, be careful what you wish for, son. You want to be the custodial parent. That's tough.
That's crazy.
What are you talking to you about?
Is that person a father though?
Yes. Have you? That's the trap door. That's the trap door. Have you ever decided that you can comfortably live without your left foot?
Right. You're incomplete.
Have you ever decided that a portion of your brain can be removed from your body?
You just be okay with that.
I'm not lucky.
This is the thing. I seen niggas sit down and they leg fall asleep and they wild out.
Go crazy.
Right.
I ain't seen your kid in 3 months. Can you go?
I'm one of them people.
Handies up. What's going on?
Talk that talk. Hold on, I need a round of applause.
And then when you hear women say shit like, oh well, you get a break. What do you mean? Like, yo, Al Green said, how do you heal a broken heart? What break?
It's crazy.
What break when I gotta go pick my kid up from school and they say he was misbehaving all day and I know he don't do that with me? It's not a break. I could have fixed that.
That's a fact.
That's my job.
Yo, I remember, I think I put on Instagram one time, I was out one time, and I guess this is my moment. And I was like, I was having fun too, I'm not gonna lie.
Good time.
I was having a good time. I was doing my thing.
Take that.
I was getting it in. But I was like, I wanted to go home so bad. Because I had been at work and I went straight out, I think, from work. So I hadn't seen her in like 12 hours. Like a while. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on with me? Like, I was bugging in my head. I was like, why do I want to go home so bad? When I went home and I saw her, I was like, this is the greatest thing in the world. There's nothing that is more like fulfilling than that look and that smile, that like you said, that completion. It's like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something mad bold. Everybody has it. The worst kind of man fights it. The worst kind of man goes, yo, nigga, you bugging, yo. Have a good time. Fuck that.
You can't.
But every man has that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have it as much as you have seeing an injustice and
that's
not
a fact.
liking it.
Right.
Some people do something about that injustice, and some people don't. But you are conscious of the fact that injustice happened in front of you. So you miss your kid.
Yeah.
You miss your fucking child, deadbeat or not. But a real man becomes conscious of missing that and decides to do something about it.
Void.
Don't fight
But
that
I mean,
feeling.
But that's the thing though, niggas, and this is the thing, like, and I gotta really stop using the word niggas. But I just feel like us as like black men, not literally us, but us as black men. I just think that we are conditioned to have voids.
This is so. Look, I gotta say, I was gonna say before you jump in.
We are conditioned to be incomplete. Whether it's not having a parent in the home, whether it's not having the necessary things,
you had to be.
Hold on. So look. So what? That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like that ability for a man to be like, well, you know what? Right, you know what? I'm gonna just take this break.
But you don't
right?
have to continue to be.
But look,
that's the thing.
but what I'm saying is, I think there's other reasons why somebody would take that trap door, right? Like whether it be, like you said, the idea that even if I come back and try, I'm putting myself through more heartache because this is gonna be a fight. It's not like I'm gonna just come back and I'm gonna get to see my child. So it's that, and like you mentioned, the voice of maybe I'm just in a bad place in general.
That's perception, right? Because to those who are in tune, right? To those who are in tune, it's a trap door. To those who aren't, it's an escape route.
That's a fact.
That's what I mean. I mean, they use that. That's what I'm using it as.
So I'm saying the word trap door, you give a different context.
No,
but
I agree. I think what I'm trying to say is, I think it is an escape. That's what I'm saying. I use that because he used that term. But I'm saying you're using that, and escapism is a real thing.
But escape sounds appealing.
That's what I know. But it is.
A trap door is really what it is.
It's a trap door.
You feel me? Like,
because you're still responsible.
If they told you that shit, your escape route led you to an alligator pit.
You're not taking that
as a trap. That's a trap door.
So what you're saying, no, I want you to get this point out. What you're saying is, in the long run, though, you're gonna feel that. That's what you're trying to say. I just want to make sure you get that.
Here's the scary part, gentlemen.
Eventually,
here's the scary part. The scary part, that deadbeat dadism, for lack of a better term,
I like that.
It's very unique.
I like that.
To melanated people.
No, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Because it was a necessity.
That's what I was getting at.
Let's talk about muscle memory, right? Let's talk about muscle. I'm a workout guy, right? If I didn't go to the gym for 2 weeks, but then kicked into 200 push-ups, my muscles would kick into what is needed for me to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
We have 400 years of slavery, correct? We have 400 years of men breeding slaves. You mean to tell me you've never, that one of them slaves didn't lay with a woman he loved and didn't think about the child that he knew he was conceiving and had to condition himself
to be okay with it. That's a fact.
So disconnecting is something that's easy for black men because it's muscle memory.
And that's what I was getting to when you mentioned void. That's what I'm getting at, is that there's deep things that go. It's not about, and I'm saying all the time, but that feeling of I can't even be a good dad if I come back. On top of that,
That's a
if
fact.
I come and try,
Right, I'm not gonna
it's
be
that
good.
fear of failure is within us as a people, which is why we don't challenge
Right,
certain
so let's
things
talk
to an
about women.
extent.
So let's talk about women.
Let's talk about
right. So we talk about how politically this idea of removing men
talk about women.
it creates a narrative.
We're not airing any of this.
So,
I'm joking. Get it off.
so the problem with women is that
He wants all the smoke.
you 1,000%.
He wants the smoke.
You 1,000% are the more intellectual gender.
Yeah.
Gender, that's a fact.
I lay that down to women.
Yeah,
I
women.
lay that down to us. We have to be stronger physically, and it kind of takes away from our emotional capacities.
That's a fact.
And
That's why I don't
and
work
some
out.
lend
The wrong
it more
muscles,
than
son.
others, right? And some train more, but that's the general scale. So knowing that there's an intellectual capacity of a woman that can be higher, especially emotional depth.
Yeah.
Why, gentlemen, do a dad like me, who I guess in concert we can say I do a pretty good job, have to beg my child's mother for just
Yeah, we didn't even get to this
thank
point
you.
yet.
Right?
But we spoke about validation,
So Father's
right?
Day
Yeah,
is so
yeah.
lacking. Yes, I saw that episode.
Yeah.
Love you guys. It's so lacking, but the deeper thing that's built into it for us is that black men need that.
Yeah.
Right?
Need
And in
that
existence,
that episode.
in an existence where
Yeah.
we
Need that
barely get any validation
validation.
for all our efforts.
Yes.
Need that validation.
Sociologically, Benjamin
But
Banneker,
this the-
and anything else,
but this
right?
the
The
thing,
first
right?
open heart surgery done by a black
us
man.
our
We can't even
kudos,
get it at
man.
home.
Give us
But
our
it's the
kudos.
thing, right? So I like the validation, right? Just to get just to give me my valid. I don't even want
I think
validation
it's deeper
for
than
what I'm
validation,
doing,
too.
right?
Yeah.
I want validation for everything I have to
Dealing with-
overcome
Yep,
to do
that's-
what I'm doing.
That's the key.
Like,
Hold on.
but
Let
the
him
thing,
get this
but-
off. Because that's
but
the
this
key.
the thing, right?
That's
people,
the
people
key.
just look at it like, oh, you supposed to do that.
Yeah,
But do you
no.
know what I had to do to do that? That's like
It's not the same.
it's not the same, bro. It's not the same.
And to
Don't get it.
your point, I do
No,
not
do you know how many trapdoors I had to escape to get here?
And to your point, to your
took
point,
forever
I
to
don't
get
need
here.
other men to tell me I'm being a good dad.
Yeah.
I don't need other women to tell me I'm being a good
fact.
dad. I need
Yeah.
the validation from the person whom I'm taking the burden off of.
Yeah. Ooh,
Right?
you better talk.
Right?
You better
Right?
talk.
2 times.
I need that validation from the person whom says, thank you, I didn't have to buy that coat. Thank you, I didn't have to buy all
you
those
talking
jeans or
crazy,
that
talking
wardrobe or that.
spicy.
Oh, you taught Ulysses how to make a U? Thank you, because that's what he's doing in school, and I don't have to now deal with that.
Talking
You know what I'm
spicy.
saying? I'm on the Dad as Fuck show because I appreciate the job done. But
We
I
appreciate
need
you.
my partner to acknowledge the stresses that I'm taking off
And
of
then this,
her.
and then this is my other thing too. Like that's a valid point. I agree with everything you said, and I think that there is values being placed on what's done, as opposed to people just appreciate that something was done. Right? So it's like if you take off 50% of the burden, it's like, all right, nigga, you did 50%. But even if 10% of the burden is taken off, it's still like,
still-
Yeah,
that's
it's
10%
something extra.
less than I had to
Appreciative.
do.
But I
Like,
think, like I said, I think it's
But
also
but
based
let me
in the
ask you-
narrative of we're not doing nothing.
And doesn't it lend itself to the quality of the work too? Because if I gave you a bag, just a bag to hold your shit, cool. But when I give you a Gucci
Quality
bag,
That's a
bag.
fact.
so if
When
I'm
I'm
giving
in
you
my
10
quality
years
bag,
of fatherhood,
when you in the
right?
Birkin,
Because you got some dudes
get
that's
in
just
the
sitting
Birkin.
there, you know what I'm saying,
Fuck
bullshitting, fathering. Yo, I buy him Jordans, I get him clothes, you know what I'm saying? When
Yeah,
he needs shit, I'm
that's right,
there.
that's face
But
action.
then you got dudes who are like, I want my son to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
People who say, I have deliverance in the way that I'm raising my child. So more than just fatherhood, the quality of fatherhood is what you want to celebrate. The fact that if you look into your own life,
But we talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
We talk about
You know what I'm
quality over
saying?
quantity.
Like you
Quality,
said,
quality,
like
that's a fact.
and you say the idea that a man that wants to and has the ability to has to go through all this. I think that's indicative of the narrative, right? Like that's
I'm
just
about to write my shit.
that's, that's just indicative of what it is, right? Because there's no way that would be acceptable anywhere else.
Correct.
Like they would be like, of course, it's great that, but it's all the. And I don't want to drive you guys crazy, but like you said, it goes back back to slavery, and I hate saying that, but it's
our reality.
it's built into who we are and our relationships with our women, relationships with our parents, all of that. And I think you broke that down so eloquently. I appreciate that. I learned something new today.
I'll give a different perspective because my descendants were not slaves. I'm straight African, right?
I hear
Right
that.
off the boat.
Talk
hear
that
that.
talk.
So
And why even say that?
Yeah, like, why?
We're gonna talk about. No, I was talking about you, but we're gonna talk about it.
No. The reason why I said that, is because fatherhood is almost identical, even though they were not slaves.
Slavery?
No.
So that now becomes a narrowhood of fatherhood in its entirety.
Exactly. So
It's not even a cultural thing.
So back even in Africa, right? The man usually, and I'm not going to generalize in my culture, in my village that I grew up in, the town I grew up in. That's how it was. The man usually works hard, comes home. He doesn't really raise the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I was telling you before that when I was younger, I had, a little fuss with my dad because
Because where you at?
exactly
Right.
he was present.
Yeah.
Right.
He was there.
But he wasn't present, right?
Yeah.
As a fact, like my father used to bring us home or whatever the case may be, do your homework, blah blah. That's what we had to do. But as soon as his friends came home,
Yeah, that's where he was at.
right?
He woke up.
He would call me, "Hey P, make sure these people have something to drink."
Like
Like
you
I
were
was some
serving.
servant.
Yeah,
like,
serving now,
right.
yeah.
You feel me?
Right.
So
Right.
I always felt. I think that's where the animus came from between me and my dad because every time he
Absolutely.
came home, now we were servants.
Right.
But that was okay. In our community,
where y'all came
because
from.
you
Right.
had to,
That's
you
a
know,
cultural-
that's a cultural
right
thing. You had
thing, right.
to greet everybody that came, or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. And also, the father was able to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah. The interesting
He ate
thing.
first, he did everything.
Right, I don't
So-
want to fuck you up.
So several things, right? First of all, throughout time and generation, we've figured out that the whole hunter gatherer nurturer thing is like off, right? Like that's not
It's not even
sustainable.
fully true.
It's
Yeah.
not right. It's not sustainable. So that's number one. Number two, I feel like religion also plays a big role into that whole honor thy mother, thy father kind of thing.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
And then
So-
the how. Honor,
and
how to honor.
Because
Right.
the key is he, as a
Wait,
child,
wait.
was
Let me
damaged by
get to it though. So for you to say that slavery didn't affect you because you're from Africa is bullshit.
No, I didn't say it didn't affect me.
No, I'm talking
you talking about as far as fatherhood.
You're talking about the trickle down of patriarchy, right?
Well,
Right?
no. I think
Because he was saying that how slaves were conditioned,
Right.
Because they were getting taken away.
But so this is why I bring up religion, right? Because if your family is Christian and you follow the Bible, right? Do I need to continue?
No.
Okay.
Because I'm a Buddhist and I was born Christian.
But
so
this
I
is
definitely
but
understand what
so-
you're saying.
So this is why, and
Right.
I don't want to alienate any of our Christian followers.
Right. It's not about that. But it's
whether
about
whether it's folk or not, people do say that the Bible is really kind of constructed to condition I don't want to say minority groups.
Okay, but
Right? It's conditioned. It's
all groups, really.
So my only pushback is that not everybody in the community I lived in was Christian.
I know, but we talking about your house.
Yeah, no, I was talking about my house. Yeah, but I also said that also in that whole area.
A lot-
But
that's how it was.
But this is the thing, right?
They were different.
So-
It was like,
But I
this
mean,
is-
but to his point, right? So I think that like for any Black American that did have slave descendants, there was an extra component that
That's
was
a
a
fact.
part of our raising that his
extra. There's
traditions,
about 50 different extra
that
components.
his traditions didn't lend themselves to.
Yeah, they didn't help.
You know what I'm
They didn't
saying?
help. They didn't help.
So I guess
They
there
didn't
was the
help.
nuance
They didn't help.
of
But
that.
I think what I think is important for our listeners
just
to. I'm
clarify,
sorry.
I'm not pinning.
Mad.
No. I'm not pinning.
Yeah.
You know, African
No,
descent
no,
straight
no,
to
I
it.
hate
Right, that's
African
not a
niggas.
context.
I just want
That's
that.
trying to put context.
But what I
Stop it.
But what I think is important though is like you said, I think the key is this. You were as a child, you recognized how you were hurt or damaged by that.
That's a fact.
That style of parenting. So and I believe that that's what only thing that really matters if we're talking about parenting, correctly or whatever, or properly, however you want to, whatever term you want to use. Because regardless of who did what and why they did what, it wasn't productive.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
Right.
It didn't,
That wasn't it, Chief.
It wasn't it.
Right.
So it doesn't
That
matter
shit
who
wasn't
you are,
John
what
Blaze.
race you are, what religion.
Yeah, right.
If that's the way you look at parenting, then that's
Right.
not right.
So
You know what I'm
that
saying?
goes to my beef with women, right? So my beef with women, right?
Listen, I don't agree with nothing.
Right.
Back to the smoke.
When Will got
So my beef with women is that, like, if me and you had a baby, and it's it's collectively our first child,
Back to the smoke.
why do I always get this overwhelming feeling that you know better?
I didn't mean that.
So right. So
Even when it's obvious, you don't
and
know
it's
better.
a built-in thing, right? So the level of sacrifice that you hear immigrated parents go through.
Yeah.
I left you to go to another country to create a better life for you, to bring you along, right? These are the plights of immigrated parents. So right now I'm in a situation where I feel like I'm situated to be a better custodial parent, right?
There's so much I want to go to, but we
know
gotta
what I mean?
wrap up soon.
I feel
because
like
it's another whole point.
Right. I feel like I live in a home. She lives in the Jacks. My son has his own room with me and several other empty rooms.
Yeah, echo.
And she lives in a more limited circumstance.
Let's speed this up. I hear what you're going with. What you're saying is,
so why is it the sense of
he would be in a
sacrifice?
better position with me, but because of the way
Laws,
structure is.
everything, and then even down to the sense of why does a woman feel like by default?
That's what I'm gonna get
we
to.
get separated. The kids go to me.
So I was
But
gonna
why?
say, and this is, shout out to Gary Vee. I follow him, but he talks about that. He recently talking about this about maybe the other parent just may be the better nurturer. Period. It's not
Or just
it's
better situated.
But I'm saying just naturally because,
Right.
like you said, naturally, say y'all both did equally think they're gonna say give them to the mom.
Boom.
Period. That's if
Boom.
y'all
Well,
equally were exactly
That
the
case
same.
in Washington where that woman comes out of jail and her kids now just go to her mom and they've been living with dad.
That's what I like about Judge Judy though. She
Keep it a
literally
buck. I just posted that.
Judge Judy literally would tell you, no, it's
I know
not
the clip
it's
you talking about.
Yeah,
too.
it's not. No, but she said that more than
like,
once.
this is y'all
She's been saying that.
If you don't have
Yeah.
a
She
said
legal
it's-
document
it's your
that
child.
gives
That's
custody
it.
to one or the other.
What I'm saying is when they go for that, they might get it.
No, yes,
That's what I'm saying.
but she said
Like,
that. She said she doesn't understand why
Yeah.
other judges feel
right,
that
Yeah.
right.
way.
And without the document, the law defaults.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
a friend of mine just had a situation where his baby moms fabricated a text of him threatening her.
That was enough.
You know what I'm saying? And that was enough.
Any reason.
They're like, we
any
have
reason.
a warrant for your arrest.
Damn.
Now
Listen, man, we gotta
brought the
yo,
smoke.
listen,
We
we
gotta
gotta have a part two.
We gonna definitely have a part
Because
two.
this is already a part three because
just
we
about-
already got
Yo,
statistics
two parts.
Hold on. You know what? You know what's crazy? I'm actually fired. I'm firing myself. Will, Mr. I want to smoke.
He wants to
That's a
smoke.
fact.
The smoking.
Smoking
To want to
tip.
smoke or not to want to smoke. That is the question.
Welcome to Smokingville.
But listen, man, before we leave here, 'cause we gotta wrap this up. We gonna continue this conversation off
Yes.
air. I just want to go through the y'all gotta stop it, man. We gotta do y'all gotta stop it
That's
one
a
more
fact.
time.
I got one.
Who want to start it? Who want to kick
I
it off?
started. Because I had this one for 2 weeks. It was been brewing. I went to go play basketball 2 weeks ago, and there was this.
No, it was a joke.
Scary Island 3.
I felt a little angst. So I saw that, he was shooting around. He had like a 1-year-old. I would say maybe one small kid. Baby started crying. Right, so he had to stop playing ball, take the baby, and on his way out, he goes, "Why are you crying? Boys don't cry. Oh, you want to be a little sissy? Sissies cry. You a sissy?"
Wow.
Where'd you
He's
play-
going to.
Where'd you play basketball on a time machine?
I'm not even gonna mention it with the Carter Center. Look, so,
my God.
My niece play over there. I
No,
know
so
In King's Landing?
And I said this
He's in
out loud.
King's Landing.
And I said this out loud because sometimes it just comes out. I'm like, yeah, that's bad parenting.
Right. You couldn't help yourself.
Like, you wildin'.
Yeah.
Like, the boys don't cry. I'm like, so my y'all gotta stop over masculating or maybe overly. I don't know.
I don't even
Whatever.
think it's
We
overly
don't understand.
It's more like emotionally depleting.
This nigga
Yeah,
got
please.
words.
Please,
Depleting.
please.
Yeah.
This whole
Yikes.
inaccurate.
This whole
Yes.
men don't cry, boys don't cry thing is
Yeah.
totally
Right.
incorrect.
Like your bitch ass
Right.
wasn't crying.
He almost just cried just now
That's
talking about his daughter.
like imagine so
That
if you
was made
suppress
me
your
cry.
emotion,
Jesus.
that means it has to come out some way.
Some way.
way.
And it usually comes out the wrong
some
way.
form.
Usually
Some
like
form.
but we're conditioned to let it come out the negative ways.
That's
And And we actually celebrate those ways with aggression. We celebrate aggression, escapism, messing with mad girls. All of that is dealing with depression and anger. That's
if your baby cries too much or your baby's soft, like come on, no. Because the crazy thing is that emotionally, when a baby cries and he's over, he's done. He's over and done.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. It's my only form of communication for you.
Exactly. That's what it is. It's self-expression.
So what you're saying is,
and it's an immature expression, right? Because I know nothing else to do.
Because he cannot communicate.
Exactly. There's nothing else I can do.
Oh shit!
So
we
my
was trying to start a whole movement.
Cry.
Men cry in the shower.
Niggas gotta cry.
CLNC, cry, little nigga, cry.
So yeah, how crazy that sounds, but how like heavy
really
that
real,
is.
That's real though.
So cry, little nigga, cry.
So that's my y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop.
I don't even want to give one after that. I'm gonna keep
y'all
it G real.
gotta stop telling
I'm
these
second
boys.
in his.
And
y'all
also,
gotta stop.
honestly, if I want some smoke, also, single women, please don't say that to your boys.
Word up.
Because I've seen that also. Like, oh, you a boy, you the boy of the house, right? You the man of the house.
But you know what that is.
Yeah, that's all
We ain't even gonna get into that because we
That's a whole other episode.
We wrap it up.
Started.
But that's so it's been funny because I don't know, I might be a terrible parent, but I keep my son home. Now that I'm on like pay, unpaid because my job ain't paying me. I'm suing y'all niggas.
Paternity leave.
I'm on leave from work because we just had the new baby. I've been keeping my son home like at least one day a week just to cuddle. Terrible. Cuddler. Oh, terrible.
No, he's so cuddly. Boys who know love become men who can
That's
love.
a fact.
And isn't that what everybody needs and wants? More love in the world.
I be making
Before
them
y'all
up.
wrap me up, son.
No,
you gotta give you.
You gonna do yours last because you came here with the heat.
I'm not getting one.
My thing is, I just feel like, and this might pertain to you, and not necessarily coming at you or taking a shot at you, because I know that you, from just speaking with you and shit, I know that you put out good quality time with your child.
I appreciate
so this is for the dads out there that stress the quantity of time. I just want to say, don't stress the quantity, right? Because the quantity might not be afforded to everybody for whatever reason it is. You know what I mean? Whether it's laws, availability, just
work.
I'm gonna find it in some
dynamics
too,
are.
bro.
I just want y'all. I just want us, me too, even me too. I just want us to focus on the quality of time. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean?
Well, me
In
too,
my
not the
world,
direct derivative of me too.
Quality beats quantity, man. Sometimes.
Clever. He's clever over there.
You know what I mean?
So Will, what y'all gotta stop?
Oh my god.
And I'm if he wilds out, I'm gonna throw my headphones and I'm quitting and I'm firing Marv and everybody else.
It's like a million of them. Yo, fellas, you gotta stop quitting. Like, you gotta stop.
Can you put a bomb? Can I hear a bomb, Mom? Thank you.
You gotta stop quitting. It is literally her job to check and balance you as much as you check and balance her. But when she does that, you're not allowed to say, all right, well, fuck it, I ain't gonna pick him up.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to say, well, fuck it, I ain't gonna be bothered with this or that. Your child needs to see you fight.
Stay solid. Ooh,
right? Because at the end of the day, right, when they get old enough to be conscious of what's going on, they're gonna ask you why you didn't fight.
That's a fact.
He's gonna ask you. She's gonna ask you why you didn't fucking fight.
You hear what's crazy though? They might not even ask you with words,
right?
But when they lash you, they're gonna ask you in action.
It's there.
You know what I mean?
You didn't fight
why
for
you didn't
me?
fight?
Why, mommy? You keep telling me that mommy didn't let you see me, but why wasn't you outside my door?
I'm gonna be real with you.
Outside my door. Ferris Bueller with the boom box. Why weren't you fighting?
I'm putting that in
I don't give a shit what she didn't let you do. Right? Because at the end of the day,
outside your
it's
crib,
about
like Ferris Bueller.
I'll keep living the boondocks.
Right.
I'm outside your crib with the boom box. Like Ferris Bueller with the boom box.
Right? You gotta fight, y'all, because at the end of the day, I need my child to be able to say,
where did you
I
get
know
that?
for a fact that mom kept you from me because you kept popping up.
No, I was there.
You was making these scenes. What happened at grandma's house during my birthday
I'm gonna have to slow you
That's
down
lit,
because
bro.
you're giving too much.
Nah, that's lit.
No, you killing
They
them.
gotta
You
see
take
you
away
fight.
the mystery from it. Like, you ain't no spaces to fill in. You have the story.
Right.
You don't have to guess what I was doing.
Because even Nas had to say in legal deposition, well, she wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
Where she kept you from
I don't wanna get
me.
deep
I
on
said
that.
I think every woman should bid from keeping real niggas away from their kids. Y'all gotta listen to that album.
Yeah.
He
But
went off
where's
on
the
that
fight?
bitch.
But
Yeah.
where's the fight? I don't. My child.
If
my
you
son
ain't get
right-
locked up,
boom.
Don't quit.
I need to see you go through it because my son needs to see me go
That's how
through
important
it.
it is.
Because that's where the love starts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I ain't seen my dad in 3 years, but the last time I seen him, he was fighting security guards to get to me.
that means everything.
That was the impact. Quality.
That could be
Quality.
That could be the
Quality.
impact for that
Quality.
kid's whole life.
I'm
Like
telling
literally,
you.
that could
Quality.
make him who
I'm
he is.
telling you, if I
Yeah.
know that my dad fought for me, then I will
Right.
fight for
For
him.
anything,
That's the thing.
right?
Yo,
And
love-
anything.
love could
You'll
change the
fight-
course of
I said
life,
you'll
bro.
fight for anything. It's not just for your dad. Like you understand fight. And,
So don't be too
yeah.
cool to fight. And I hear it all the time. Yo, I can't. Yo, I ain't going.
Nah, I ain't gonna look. I ain't
What do
gonna
you
look
mean?
crazy.
I've heard gentlemen in locker rooms say that they'll make dumber decisions over lighter
But I say
shit.
real quick, niggas are fighting
Yeah.
the club.
What? Yo, you
Niggas
still got my
look at them the
sneakers on? Yo,
wrong way.
clean my shit, but you're not fighting your baby moms for visitation.
Niggas will fight your baby mom new nigga way faster.
In a minute.
That's a fact.
That's a whole other
Niggas
conversation.
will fight
'cause
another nigga baby mom. To see a kid that's not
That's
there. That's a fact.
We gotta wrap up right there.
Y'all gotta
'Cause
stop.
Y'all
gotta stop.
That's why y'all gotta stop. Stop hating. Stop being bitter, hating ass niggas. Man, cause Shorty moved on to a better nigga.
Word, love.
Get your game up. Go to the
Gotta
gym,
be
nigga.
better.
Do something, nigga.
Take out that aggression another way.
Facts. Well, yo.
All right, man. So y'all know where we at, man. It's
yes,
the Dad AF show, Dad is Fuck show. If you feel like
Yeah.
Kevin said, we wrapping up.
That is fuck. I love this
Shout out
episode.
to
Thanks,
Will,
thanks
man.
so
Yo,
much
it's a
for coming.
complete honor, fam. Like
Yes.
you ain't doing your job
Play.
until you've been on Dad as Fuck.
Well,
So, like,
man.
this
Play.
is
I'm
the
James
award show
Rich.
for
Send
good
some
dads.
sales.
Wu-Tang Jackson this week.
It's been a pleasure.
Follow me, I'm Dad as Fuck. I think I know the way.